you, guys.
Grab a seat, Warwick. Great to have you on. Thank you for joining us. That's a fun... I love that clip. I love that episode of Extras. That's very good.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah.
Now, you know, I'm thrilled your book's come out because I've seen you in so many films over the years, and, you know, I'm genuinely a fan of the Leprechaun series, and we will talk about that later on. But, you've got your autobiography out.
I have, yes.
Called Size Matters Not, which is a kind of a Yoda
Size
phrase.
matters not.
Yeah, you do a much better one than me. Why write it now? What prompted you to write it, and did you enjoy the process of writing it?
Yeah, I was approached by a publisher, and at first I said, no, I really haven't got anything to say. You know, I felt you had to be kind of a retiring actor to write a memoir. But then when I sat down and started to think about it, I thought, well, I have done some quite amazing things, you know, with Star Wars and Willow and Harry Potter, and so there was a great sort of film story to tell, you know, lots of famous people, lots of adventures on set, but also there was a really interesting life story as well, you know, being 3'6" in a big world and growing up, you know, short.
Well, that's what's fascinating about it, is because I guess it's something that people are a little reluctant to talk to you about, are they? They're not embarrassed about it, but they feel, can I talk to you about this? Is it, you know, do you encounter that?
Yeah, all the time, and people will avoid saying the word short. A little in the conversation, but then say it more.
Yeah, but I was going to say he's one of our biggest stars. I thought, no.
Yes.
He's been in some huge movies. I thought, no. So I'm sitting there worrying about what to say, and you're right. But you presumably you're relaxed and pretty cool about it.
I'm fine with it. I'm slightly disappointed that the guys didn't sing a sort of short song. Or
they were going to sing Tiny Dancer, and we said, I thought no, because I didn't want to get off to the wrong foot.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, so but then presumably when you're out and about, how are people? How are kids with you? How are adults? How are the parents?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. The world is full of people with interesting reactions. I mean, you know, if I bump into a kid, for example, the most embarrassing occasion was I went to open like a Fate, and there was a little 6-year-old lad there. He was wearing exactly the same shirt that I was. You know, that was pretty embarrassing. But I mean, people, particularly Irish people and Japanese people, they want to touch me for luck.
Really?
Yeah.
No, for real?
They do. They want. I don't know. I guess they think maybe I'm a real life leprechaun. I'm not sure. But the Japanese people, they have to come and touch me.
Do they say something when they're doing it? Or they just do it?
No, they just have a touch, and he's very subtle sometimes. But I'm like, I know what you're up to. and I just.
But as far as you know, though, you don't have any luck-giving properties.
Well, no, I've been very lucky in my career and life, but I don't know whether I passed that on or not. You know.
Now, it was kind of accidental. You broke into movies at a very young age. How did that happen? How did you first get into films?
Well, I was 11 years old. I was at school like anyone else, and my grandmother, she heard a radio announcement put out by the Star Wars people, and they said, we're looking for short people to be in the next Star Wars movie, Return of the Jedi. So she told my mum about this, who was mopping the floor at home at the time, and Mum phoned the studios. They said, we've got everyone. We were inundated with calls. And I don't know what she did. She may have offered them cash, I'm not sure. But they said, all right, bring him in. We'd love to meet him. And bear in mind, I was 2'11", a lot shorter than I am now.
2'11".
So I walked in, and I met with a production assistant who didn't audition me. She just took one look at me and said, do you like Star Wars? I said, yeah. I was so excited.
Yeah, yeah. But 11, you would have been over the moon just to be there, I guess.
Oh, I mean, I lined up when I was 7 years old to go and see Star Wars.
Yeah,
I mean, it had an immediate effect on me. And, yeah, to be part of that then was just astonishing.
And so they cast you pretty immediately, I guess. They
just based on my height. They said,
didn't you get a bigger role because someone fell out? Is that
well, yeah, and full of lucky breaks. Nan was the first one. The second one was due to Kenny Baker. Now, Kenny is normally the poor chap stuffed in R2-D2.
He was R2-D2, yeah.
He's the soft bit in R2-D2. And Kenny was also an Ewok, right? And so the day they were going to shoot the famous scene where Princess Leia has crashed her speeder bike and she's discovered by an Ewok, the day they were going to shoot that with Kenny, he was taken ill with food poisoning.
Well, you say that, but
how it happened?
Yeah. What did you give him?
Money well spent on that hamburger. But no, poor old Kenny was taken ill, and
so he couldn't do it.
And they called me in.
Wow.
And then I became Wicket. Then from then on, I was otherwise just another Ewok.
And this is a great scene. We're going to show you this clip. This is a great scene in kind of fantasy cinema and sci-fi cinema. And this is you just 11 inside this.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is Warwick when he was 11 with Carrie Fisher in Return of the Jedi. You've got to love the Ewoks, haven't you?
Thank you.
I want to see more Ewoks.
Well, if you look in that clip there, the tongue that you see is my real tongue. Because the faces were totally inanimate.
What were you eating there? What did she give you to eat?
It was a bit of that rice cake stuff. It tasted like polystyrene.
Yeah, not so good. And then there were a couple of Ewok movies, weren't there? Were you in both of those?
Yes, I was. And that was probably thanks to George Lucas's daughter, who fell in love with Wicket and the Ewoks.
Well, kids loved the Ewoks, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, and Lucas, he kind of became quite a friend of yours, didn't he?
Oh, he did indeed, absolutely. I mean, he's been an integral part of my career, you know, for since then, basically, till now, and we do still keep in touch.
Is that how Willow came about? Was that via Lucas that you got the lead in Willow?
Well, he actually said to my mum in 1983, he said, I've got a little idea for Warwick, you know, a film idea, but he's not quite old enough yet, but we'll get to it, you know, when he's older. And, yeah, in 1987, I got the call from George Lucas's office saying, come up to Elstree Studios, meet with George Lucas and Ron Howard for a film called Willow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that had a lot of other little people in it as well, didn't it? It was a lot of other guys about the same height as you. I mean, how did they find so many people that size? Because previously back then they had to put an advert out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they scoured the world, so I think they brought in about 260 little people to play Nelwyn villagers in the village scene there, yes.
And when you get that many, I mean, regardless of height, when you get that many actors cohabitating together, you know, the parties occur.
Well, I think, the parties mainly occurred on the set in the little village huts, I believe. All sorts went on.
You believe or you were...
Well, I know I wasn't involved with that. I was in my trailer somewhere, probably.
Yeah, of course you were.
I know I was. I know you start probing.
Yeah, well, that's what you're here for. So how old were you then? I forgot. Are you about...
I was 17 then.
So what great to be in a lead role when you're 17, a lead role in a movie and all that sex. What an incredible experience for you.
It wasn't me. It was around me. I hear.
OK, let's talk about Harry Potter. Because here's another tremendous success story, and that would have been, you know, after the event, everyone said, of course they're hits, but they needn't have been. And you were in the first one, weren't you, when they were just really little kids?
Playing Professor Flitwick. I was almost as tall as Daniel, Rupert and Emma at that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we didn't know going into making the first movie, of course, that we were going to make any more. You know, we took it one movie at a time, and little did we know they would become, you know, the most successful film franchise ever. It's
going to be a sad day, I guess, when that comes to an end, because that's been a huge chunk of your life, hasn't it?
It'll be very sad. I mean, we've all been working on those films for 10 years now, and I liken it actually to going to school. You know, each film we go back for a new term, as it were, and you know, we're all about to graduate and go our separate ways, and it's going to be sad, yeah.
OK, let's talk about the moment we went for. Leprechaun.
Oh.
OK, so how does that happen? They phone you and they say, we're making a film called Leprechaun, about a leprechaun. I imagine your first question was, what part am I going to play?
Well, the script came in, Jonathan, and it was actually appealed to me straight away because I'd done Willow and I'd done Ewoks and all these nice things, and I thought, I need to show that I can diversify, otherwise I'm going to be typecast forever. And so this was a horror movie. Of course, I jumped at it immediately. And he was such a fun character to play, so crazy. And there was really no limits to what I was doing.
There's more to it, just because it's kind of horror comedy, really, isn't it? I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, it's all tongue-in-cheek stuff. We don't take it seriously.
So when was the first one? Can you remember what year the first one was?
91, I think. 91. The first one.
And this is what's so weird about it, and this is really why I started watching the first place, because someone told me it was the first movie, someone who became very famous, of course, it was...
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston's in this. It's like her first big movie.
Absolutely.
But then I thought, this is a great case. And when I found out they made 6, I just set myself the challenge of watching them all. So the first one, presumably it was a reasonable size hit from to want to go back, or was it low budget enough and say, OK, we'll take a chance on them?
I think, I mean, that one came out theatrically, so I think it made enough money and it continues to do so now with the fact that Jennifer's in it. She totally denies any connection with the films whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, I can't believe we've done 6, you know. It's amazing, and people still want a 7th.
Well, absolutely. I demand a 7th. I want to see where they go with it next.
How about this? How about you combine Leprechaun with pirates? They like gold, they like drinking, same as Leprechauns. Get Johnny Depp on it. We could shoot it at the same time as Pirates 4.
Leprechauns of the Caribbean.
It'd be great.
It's got a ring to it. You're a genius. Let's have a look. This is now. I'm going to show you several Leprechaun clips. I'm warning you now. Look at this.